How do we value Illinois dog bite cases? Hi, I'm Josh Rohrscheib. I'm a personal injury lawyer in Central Illinois. And when it comes to valuing dog bite cases, it's really more of an art than a science. So there isn't a simple formula that we can plug numbers into and give you the value of your case. So what we do is we look at a number of different factors in valuing cases. And in this video, I'd like to walk you through what those factors are. Okay, so the first factor is we look at what happened, or what were the facts and circumstances of this case. And what we're really looking at is, can we prove that someone else is at fault and liable to you or responsible to pay you for your damages? In Illinois, there's a law called the Illinois Animal Control Act, which is very favorable for helping victims of animal attacks and dog bites get justice. I have a separate video that does a deeper dive on just the Animal Control Act. If you'd like more information on that, I'd encourage you to watch that video. But the first factor is really what happened, and can we prove that someone else is at fault? The second factor is probably the most important factor, and that is how significant were the damages or the injuries. So when it comes to looking at the second factor, we look at things like, did the bite cause any disability or serious scarring or disfigurement? Was it necessary to have significant medical procedures to correct the bite, like stitches, surgery, multiple surgeries? So the more severe the injury caused by the bite, the higher the value of the case. Third factor, which is really related to the second, is where was the damage done. So in a case where there's scarring, if it's facial scarring or somewhere really prominent, even like on the hands, it tends to have a higher value than scarring, on the leg or something that would normally be covered. So the more prominent the scarring caused by the bite, the higher the value of the case. Another factor that's similar to the seriousness of the injuries or the amount of the damages is the age of the victim. So unfortunately, a lot of these cases that we see involve injuries to children. And a child has to live with the consequences and aftermath of an injury much longer than a senior citizen. So a general rule is the younger the victim, generally the higher the value of the case. Another factor would be the amount of the medical bills, or the significant, what kind of significant medical procedures were necessary to address the damage done by the bite. Higher the medical bills, the higher the value of the case. But it's important to also consider the need for future procedures to address the damage done. And for instance, if a bite was very serious, it's possible someone could need multiple procedures in the future, like multiple revision surgeries. So it's important to consider those future costs in your valuation of a case. Another factor that often folks don't look into as much as they should is the bite history of the dog. So what we typically do is we send a FOIA request to the animal control officials to see if the dog has bit anyone else, or we'll talk to the neighbors. And in cases where the dog had a prior bite history, the case tends to have more value because a jury is likely to be inflamed by a very careless dog owner who's allowed their dogs to attack, or their dog to attack multiple people. And then finally, as a practical matter, an important consideration in valuing a case is what resources are actually available for recovery. Typically, we look to collect from a homeowners insurance policy in dog bite cases, but in cases where there isn't insurance, sometimes we have to look to the personal assets of the at-fault parties. And just as a practical matter, cases where there is a source of recovery tend to have more value for the client than a case where the only source of recovery is the personal assets of the dog's owner, and maybe they don't have anything. So that's an important thing to look into when we're trying to advise clients about what might be possible to recover for them in their case. Well, I hope this information is helpful to you. If you would like any help evaluating your own case, we're always happy to give you a free consultation. I should mention one other thing, actually. In these cases, we often look at not only the past results in our office, we talk to friends and colleagues, we will also get reports to see what other cases involving the same types of injuries have settled for around the state of Illinois. So we can get a sense of what other verdicts have been at trial and what other settlements have been achieved through different reporting services, so we can give the client that information as well to help them make a decision about whether or not they should settle their case for a specific amount of money. Anyway, I hope this information is helpful to you. If you have any questions, please reach out, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Thanks.